I was muted, but welcome back, folks. Obviously, we aren't just waiting for the teams to get themselves in the right place at the right time. Obviously, we did have a very quick game just then, but we will be giving you a little bit of a treat. Obviously, you guys at home may be a little bit aware of a small website called YouTube. We're going to give you a little hint as to what's out there, especially from the World of Tanks guys who've been bringing some amazing content. So we're going to give you a little, kind of bit of an idea as to what's going on in the big world out there on the internet while we wait for these teams to get us the invites and we get ready for the Team Dignitas game up against GF Gaming. So, guys, enjoy this video.
Welcome to the esports show, where we'll keep you updated with the world of the international esports scene every few weeks. Today in the show we've got eSuper Intel picks up the European Wargaming.net League's Czech team, the Rolling Goats. The EU's Wargaming.net League announces that the finals will be at DreamHack, and where you can find English esports streams. A pro tip from Fulcrum Gaming, and in league and tournament news, we cover the progress on the North American Major League Championship Series and the European, Russia and Asian Wargaming.net Leagues. We told you last time that the signing of professional teams will become commonplace. Well, we have another. The Rolling Goats were very active participants in the first European A-Series, managing to successfully score ample points to qualify for the European Wargaming.net League. This was enough for Team eSuper to want to have the Rolling Goats as part of their group, and so eSuper is the fourth European but first Czech team to join the World of Tanks professional esports scene. Although the Rolling Goats didn't manage to achieve any top position in any of the main Wargaming.net or Electronic Sports League tournaments, we hope that eSuper will taste that success soon enough. Ever wondered where to go to get the best live, top-level professional World of Tanks action? In English? Well, there's plenty of great streams for you. To watch North American teams, you have the Fulcrum TV channel, where Soviet, Barum and others cast high-level play from their cluster, including events like the Battle for Berlin and training skirmishes between the best teams from North America. European teams are covered by the ESL, including Joe Miller casting the Wargaming.net League. They also have weekly events like Go for WoT on Sundays. For Russian cluster action, you have Highfly 15 and me casting the Russian Wargaming.net League. And in Asia, you have GOM TV hosting their Wargaming League now that it's in full swing. So, if you're new to watching top-level professional World of Tanks matches or an old hand at it, you'll find something you like in these English-speaking streams. DreamHack is the Guinness World Record-holding world's biggest LAN party, and is therefore one of the biggest esports events in Europe. Based in Sweden, it hosts a number of activities, including the recently announced World of Tanks European Wargaming.net League's Grand Finals. These matches will last for 2 days, taking place on the 15th and 16th of June. So start making your arrangements on how you're going to get there, as you don't want to miss out.
As the world's largest digital festival, we're proud to team up with Wargaming and ESL to provide the DreamHack audience with a professional and international tournament in World of Tanks. DreamHack Summer 2013 will be our biggest summer festival ever, and embracing a fun and free-to-play game like World of Tanks feels like a natural step in our esports strategy. Robert Olin, CEO, DreamHack AB.
Pro tips are here to help you and your team get better at playing in the 742 format. So, this episode we've got a tip straight from North America on the effective use of the KV5.
Hi, I'm Nagatron from Fulcrum Gaming. My teammate Absolute Royal and I are going to show you how to use the KV5. This Soviet heavy tank is most often used in city maps, such as Ensk and Himmelsdorf. The fantastic armor layout, high hit points, and amazing damage per minute make the KV5 a viable choice for the 742 format. Due to its large profile, only another KV5 can properly shield you. Because of this, we often use them in pairs for greater efficiency, so stay close to your partner. Since they're so large and slow to accelerate, some maneuvers with them require additional coordination amongst your teammates compared to other tanks. In a situation where both sides have the same amount of guns before a confrontation, whoever shoots first usually wins. The KV5's extra hit points are really important as it equates to an extra shell from enemy tanks, allowing you to mitigate their advantage and giving you a chance to attack. With such a high rate of fire, the KV5 is especially well suited for firing at the enemy's tracks. If done in coordination with a partner, you can expend the enemy's repair kit and then track them indefinitely without them being able to angle their hull or run away, so you and your teammates can easily destroy them. The KV-5 turret turns slowly, so remember to think and predict where your enemy will be. When you're being flanked, you need only turn your turret while putting the rear of your tank at 30 to 45 degrees angle to them, which will be very hard to penetrate. If you find yourself surrounded, then continue to attack what's in front of you and leave the flanker to your teammates. The last thing you want to do is turn your turret sideways to give all of your enemies an easy shot at the flat surfaces. Always remember to angle your turrets between shots against enemies in front of you to maximize your turret's armor. Similar to the E100 or Mouse, your goal here is to deny the enemy any shots on a flat surface. Your most prominent weak spot is the Radio Man's turret, which is affectionately known as the R2-D2 here in America. It's important to hide this from the enemy whenever you can. The hatches and the turret itself are still vulnerable, but they won't take damage as reliably as poor R2. Although slower than other Tier 8 heavies, this behemoth has a higher top speed than its size would lead you to believe, but it accelerates slowly, so when you can, keep up your momentum. A KV-5 moving at full speed is harder to penetrate and allows you to utilize your 100-ton tank to deliver vicious ram damage. So never sit still. Always keep moving when you are not firing, but be mindful of your team's firing angles so you do not block their shots. I'm Nagatron from Fulcrum Gaming. Good luck and have fun.
The North American Major League Championship Series is underway, with 2 rounds played already.
The Major League Champion Series is played on the North American cluster seasonally, where 20 qualifying teams play in this series for a prize pool total of 4,160,000 gold. First place winnings is 2 million gold.
6 teams are currently left without defeats. Pubstars, Simp, Simple Tankers, Wreck Havoc, Fulcrum Gaming and Team Fusion, who are all looking very strong and their eyes set on the championship. The next round takes place on the 19th, with the undefeated teams Pubstars and Simp squaring off. With the European Wargaming.net League in full swing, the rankings are starting to take shape. WoT Pro currently leads the table despite losing their first match against Spale. However, Synergy is tied in points, also only losing 1 match against Mouse Sports. Meteor Makers, Kazna Crew, Mouse Sports and Spale aren't far behind, all performing extremely well. It's still early days yet, with more great matches to come, so stay tuned. With 24,000 people watching live, Rush tied their Russian Wargaming.net League set against New Star, allowing Mind to take the top spot, being the only team with an unbroken record. Mind have proceeded to destroy every team they've faced so far, struggling only against Rage in their second round. Just type the Riveting TV archive into YouTube to find this match and all the other recordings there. With $100,000 on the line, the top teams from the Asian cluster are out to prove their worth in the GomTV-hosted Asia Open. To follow what's going on with the best from SEA, go to gomtv.net, click on Leagues, and the Tanks Asia Open season is the second link. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
So, welcome back. Obviously, you did get a little kind of a recap of all the things we've had so far, and there's been some incredible stuff, you know, throughout the entirety of the first season. We saw some incredible results in DreamHack. Hell, we even saw, you know, a fair few upsets at DreamHack as well. I think you got treated to that one more than I did, sadly, but, you know, there were some brilliant things. Obviously, seeing Team Dignitas there, and you know the kind of favourites not quite making it towards the end, sadly. But obviously, there are more games coming up today. We do have Team Dignitas against GF Gaming in just a moment. As you might notice by now, we are just trying to kind of hurry them up a bit because the games that we kind of can't quickly, to say the very least.
Yeah, we didn't expect them to go so slowly. I mean, we'll go so quickly, I guess, and it takes so slow for the other teams to get into this game. But we are waiting for GF Gaming versus Team Dignitas. Obviously, GF Gaming are now playing Evil Panda Squad. Team Dignitas are playing Kazna Crew, so maybe there's some draws in there. Maybe they're playing all 5 rounds. Well, they have to be since it's a 10-minute game, 50 minutes max if you have no draws. But obviously, you have a draw in there and a couple, and you bump that up to however much. But yeah, we can go back to DreamHack a little bit. WoT Pro was the upset, I guess, the big upset. Losing, actually, 4-2 in the finals against Team Dignitas. Incredible game, last game on Ensk. Just getting completely ripped apart. And you know, I think if we're going to see anything like that at Gamescom, I mean, we're in for the best season of our lives. I mean, if that, you know, that's the starting point, where are we going to go from here? What do you think? Do you think we're going to have anything as close as that?
I don't know. I know, you know, Odie from Team Dignitas. I know what he's like managing his teams, and obviously, you know, winning DreamHack to them must have been a huge moment, and they've clearly carried on that success. They haven't lost a game yet. You know, Season 2, they started out, they're not a shaky Season 1, I don't think we can say, but they certainly weren't as prolific as they have been this season. You know, literally, I've gone through the games, I've done my little research, I've even got my sad little notepad. Look at this, guys. It's got little, like, bits on it. Don't even know what they do, but it's there. These guys haven't lost a game yet. So clearly, you know, you give them a little bit of confidence, you build them up, they actually, you know, really kind of respond to that. So these guys, they're dangerous this season. But you can't write off any of the teams. They're just as strong. You know, anyone can kind of pull something, you know, completely new out of the bag and just kind of cause a bit of an upset.
Indeed. Well, you know, the top 6 teams will be going to Gamescom. 50,000 euros is the top prize. I mean, even more than Season 1, 45,000 euros for Season 1, because we did have that offline tournament at IEM Hanover. Obviously, Mousesports took that one. And I think, you know, we can talk a little bit about that, because that was the catalyst for Mousesports to take it to the next level, you know. Before then, they weren't nobodies, but they certainly weren't as good as your EVA Panda squads and stuff. And even in 1SP Zavisha, they weren't as good as them. And at IEM Hanover, it was like, wow, suddenly this is amazing Polish team that came out of absolutely nowhere to win against Dragonborns in the finals and take away the 5,000 euros. So, you know, that's where they came from. And you know, if they continued that in Season 1. We saw that a 3rd place finish, winning 4-1 in the finals of DreamHack against Dragonborns. And Season 2, they had a shaky start, but, you know, we'd said Butcher, the new player, is, you know,
rekindling a bit almost. It's just kind of that. It's that honeymoon period. In any game, when you get a new player, you know, any game you play, you know this. There's that initial boost where you go, okay, fresh blood, awesome. Let's, you know, try this out. You got that little kind of freshness to the team. But there's also that time where the honeymoon period kind of
for sure.
Kind of, you know, it slides down, and you get into marriage, and, you know, it's all arguments about, you know, who's washing the car and who's doing the front lawn and all that. But, you know, they're obviously on that high still. They're still riding that kind of bonus right there. And obviously it shows. But it's going to get down pretty nitty and gritty soon in the Season 2, obviously. Because the teams, everyone had that. Obviously, the patch updates are, you know, a big factor. Some adapted quickly. Some didn't. And you kind of saw that. But now, everyone's kind of evening out, you know what I mean? Everyone's kind of getting used to, you know, obviously not playing with the RT or maps that we saw that used to be quite, you know, a functional choice. So it's going to be interesting. As you said, you know, I don't think at the start of the season we could have even called the results to now, let alone what's going to happen at the end. You know, I think we can stand by Dignitas, because these guys, they're drilled in, you know, they're focused. We'll get to see if that's, you know, applicable now. In theory, on paper, they should, you know, walk this game, in theory. But we've seen other games where, you know, a team should have walked it and they hadn't.
You've seen it so many times. I mean,
yeah, one of the first games we already mentioned, you know, WoT, who are new to this, as such, or new to the season, came in and beat Dragonborns. It's everything is still to play for, you know. And there's a couple of teams already that are standing up to me a little bit. Obviously, I love Spale and Kazna Crew, kind of battle it out. We saw who kind of came the victor of that one. But I love watching those guys. But
great to watch.
Has there been any stand-up teams for you so far that's kind of stepped up their game even, or just kind of like really turned up in this season rather than the first?
Well, just leaving, Virtus Pro and Team Dignitas out. You know, I would even leave Mousesports out, because, you know, I think those 3 are the kind of consistent teams that I think, you know, you can kind of say, okay, they're going to win. They're going to be in the top 3. They're going to be in the top 6. We're going to see them at Gamescom even, almost definitely. As for the other 3 spots, you know, I'm looking to Spale.
Do you know what the thing is, right? I saw them initially, and you know, you told me before, you're like, these guys, they have a bit of character. Sometimes you'll get, you know, a bit of not a throwaway game from them, but they'll just do something completely off the wall, and they'll be like, what have I just witnessed? And that's what I got first. And I was like, so why is everyone behind these guys? And then I saw them against Kazna Crew, and I was like,
wait a minute.
Hold on. These guys are pretty damn good. Like, guys, if you haven't seen it, make sure you watch the replays. They are on the WoT Pro League site right now. Check it out. It's underneath it. Literally, go watch them, because the disparity between the first time I watched them and that second game, it was like a brand new team. I kid you not. That was amazing. Why do they play like that? Is it just a personality thing, do you reckon?
You know, I don't think they take it so seriously sometimes. You know, you listen to Eurofish on the stage of DreamHack, and he's so chilled out. He's like, no, we don't train. Well, we train, but they don't have any plan before they go into the battle. So, you know, most teams, you know, they have they know what they're going to do, and they know if this team does this, then we're going to react. If that team does that, then we know how we're going to react to them. But Spiel just seem to they seem to go in game and, oh, there's a tank there, let's push along there, see what happens. And it's these pushes which can either work really well for them. We saw them winning on airfield, like the best team on airfield. Obviously, we don't have that anymore on our map hill. But most of the time, it doesn't work. I mean, they got the player skill there, they got the coordination there, but if you're pushing into like 3 AMX 5100s, then what's going to happen?
It's not going to end well.
Yeah. And I think, as they mature and they get more experience as a team, they're going to be unbelievable.
Oh, definitely. They're a team I want to watch because, as you said, they're so talented, not just individually, like overall, these guys are just so damn good. And looking at their results, I do have up on my screen, I don't want you guys to see it because it's a little bit, a bit here and there for me. But, Spiel didn't start too well. First game, first play day, they lost to Evil Panda Squad.
Yeah.
But we've also seen how well Evil Panda Squad can play as well. They're not a team who, aren't talented. They're a team that certainly can turn up when they want to. I'm just going to have a little look through how Spiel are actually doing throughout this. Second game, lost to Dignitas as well. So they had a bit of a shaky start to things here. And what do you think that was? Do you know, was this the patch updates, or do you reckon it might have been, the usual style of them? Or do you think they got a little bit caught off guard without the artillery?
I think against the Evil Panda Squad, maybe a little bit more of a surprise than Dinova. I mean, Evil Panda Squad, they came like 7th last season. They didn't play so well, and as a team that's been around for as long as they have, and have probably, apart from WoT Pro and Team Dignitas, the most experienced players, if not the most experienced players, you would have expected them to do better, to be in at least top 6, if not top 3. And I think Spiel could have won that match, but Evil Panda Squad have had enough. I think they put their foot down and said, we're not gonna let other teams who are inferior to us, they think are inferior to us, push us out of our top 6 spot. We need to get into the offline finals, and they've been at every single offline final since pretty much the game begun. I mean, Katowice, they won. Hanover, they were there. They were Eurosteel. They've been there since the beginning. And I just think they've put their foot down. That's why they won. Against Dinova, I think it's the same. I think Dinova is a team that came. They came 8th, I think, between those two. And they've put their foot down this season. They've got a couple of new players, and they said, no, we're not gonna not get qualified. We're gonna be a top team. And look at their results. They've been doing so well. Obviously losing a couple of games, but it's just because I don't know. New player blues that we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But I do love the way with Spiel, there's that turning point. Playday 3. Make sure you check this out, by the way, guys. We're not just making this stuff up. Go on the WoT Pro League site, check out the results, because it's quite interesting. Literally, on Playday 3, they go, all right, we've had a shaky start. Then they go on to beat GF Gaming, Team More WoT, who had brilliant results initially. So that's a huge game for them. And then they even went on to beat Isuba, Kaznikru. Something just went, right, let's start working this out. So we may have seen those initial kind of shaky games, but they certainly have turned up.
Yeah, so they have.
I don't know what's happened with them. Maybe they're having their Weetabix, just before the game, and they're making sure they're ready. Yeah, exactly. These guys are something to look out for. So as a team, to call out, I reckon, if they keep going the way they are, they're not doing too badly right now. They certainly could keep going throughout the season, I reckon. They're a team that I want to support as well. Like, I like Kaznikru, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're an awesome team, once again, quite, a personality team. But Spiel, to me, watching them first of all, and then watching them, slowly improve, it's that storyline that I love watching. These guys went back to the drawing board clearly and went, all right, that didn't work. We tried this, that also was a bit shaky. Actually, let's try and incorporate this. Obviously, we can't depend on artillery anymore as the patch updates, and they've worked around it, and they've clearly become a little bit better off here. Okay, so one other question. We've seen the people who are kind of performing and kind of stepping up. Who's not quite there at the moment? Who's kind of giving you shaky results? Because you know these teams. You've seen them in events. You've seen them in the last season. Obviously, I've only just joined in for this season. But who's had that shaky start in this one for you?
Well, we've just seen Asuba get completely obliterated by. I think that's a team that has had a shaky start. I can't really comment so much on the new teams, GF Game and stuff. I mean, I've seen them play under different banner. They were Expendable Panda Squad before, and they did pretty well. Never brilliant results, but they got the results down. They were okay. I think they were off to a shaky start, certainly because they qualified for A Series first place. So that's like a month's worth of playing, pretty much 3 times a week, I think it is. And they came first again, and they beat teams like more WoT DE all the time. So you would have expected them to step it up again. Exactly. You would expect them to do better than they are, and they're not. They lost 7 games now in a row. Well, 7 games now if they lose the next one, 6 at the moment.
Exactly.
And I think that, you know, they need to step it up. As for the other teams, I think Dragonborns are even, sadly, one of those teams because...
they've been so hit and miss, though, for me. They're not a bad team. I don't think anyone can say they're a bad team, but they're inconsistent. And that's one of the biggest fears being in a team, is being inconsistent. What do you think is causing that? Why have they suddenly become a shaky kind of team there? I don't get what's kind of holding them back. What's your kind of thoughts on it?
I think, you know, maybe it's twofold. One, they lost, I think, 3 players to holidays and stuff. I mean, it's obviously July now, it's the pre-holiday time, and that happens. But, you know, it doesn't seem that the other teams have been affected quite as much as they have. So that could be one of the reasons, but, you know, that's making excuses, I guess, if you say that. And the second one is they relied on their artillery player, Dr. Tour, too much, in my opinion. I mean, he was the one who won them the game so many times, one-shotting tanks here, right, here, left, everywhere. I mean, it was insane. And now, since 8.6, you can't play artillery. Suddenly, the team's dropping. Obviously, Magus played it at DreamHack, and he played so well, but Magus doesn't usually play artillery, sorry, Magus, quite as well as that. So, and he's usually the T1 player as well, so it's
a big change.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, a top-tier team, you expect them to be able to be versatile to an extent. I know, obviously, you have your focus classes, or you're specifically good at one thing generally, and obviously you train at that, you work at that. But at a top-tier level, you've got to be ready to kind of go, okay, they've just thrown this out. How can we adapt to this? That's the difference between a good team and a great team. That's, to me, is, you know, when there's something thrown at you, even if it's just down to tactics or a little bit of a curveball gets thrown at you, you can adapt on the fly. And obviously, we've been seeing that already. You know, a couple of teams have had, you know, some really kind of, not disastrous starts to the game, but they've had a really shaky start to a specific map. And then they've just somehow gone, all right, that's what's happened. How can we rethink this? How can we work that out? And there's a couple of teams that are so damn good at that. And I think Dignitas is one of them. You know, Team Dignitas are always good at adapting on the fly. You know, they have their strats that are clearly there. But then if, you know, something kind of goes amiss, or they lose that initial T1, they lose a bit of vision towards the map, they kind of miss out on an element, they can just go, all right, let's switch this up. Let's play this out how we've done before in practices. And they're just so good at that.
Yeah, and I think that's about putting trust in your team leader. You usually have a couple of those in your team. I mean, the problem I always had in teams was if you don't trust your other team members, you know, if your team leader says, okay, push over that, push over there, put to that side, go to that side, make those shots, and you don't do it, and you lose the game because of it, you know,
unbelievable.
You know, that's the problem you have as a player. You know, you've got to put trust in your other players. If it doesn't work out, then that's not on you. I mean, that's a bad thing, but it's not on you. You know, you did what your team leader says, and that is how you improve, because your team leader is going to improve in terms of decision making, because he's you know, you're not relying on 7 other people to make decisions. You're relying on your team leader to make decisions, and that's really important. You know, I think like a team like Dragonborns, who haven't been doing so well, they need to put more trust in their decision makers. They need to do what they're told, to be honest. You know, and I think that's what Virtus Pro and, you know, from the Russian league, Rush, now Navi, they were released today. They were sponsored by a new company, Navi.
Congratulations,
so congratulations to them, of course. You know, they put trust in you know, Dulux is the team leader for them. They put trust in them, and I think that's what the teams have to do. But also, obviously, you know, you need to be making the right decision, so you need to be talking as a team.
You can build that trust.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's all about playing, you know, and kind of building those bridges, you know, and obviously there's the go for and things like that. What's the best way, in your opinion, for these teams who may not have that kind of God-given like chemistry to kind of work it out? What is, you know, what? Because obviously this league's kind of underway now. There's no way you can just hop in. You've got to kind of work your way through that. But obviously, you know, there is the go for stuff. How, you know, is that a best kind of good way to get teams kind of working it through?
Well, yeah, I think, you know, you raised an interesting point, because I'm honestly one of those people who don't believe in God-given chemistries. You know, I think, you know, I think you look at you look at Rush, and you look at Virtus Pro, you look at Dignitas, you look at all of them, all these teams. They don't come from nowhere. You know, they're not like new kids on the block.
This way,
you know, they've been here since day one. You know, looking at like Virtus Pro, for instance. Okay, we've got Emelka, right? I knew that guy back in 2011. He was here from the beginning of the beta. And now he's such a great player, you know, and the list goes on through all these teams. These guys have been from the beginning. But if you're a new team and you want to get in this, it doesn't matter that you maybe haven't been playing the game for 3 years. It doesn't matter at all. That's irrelevant. I mean, that shouldn't even go through your mind. All you need to do, which is what all the old teams have been doing, is training. Train. Platoon, train. You know, that's all you need to be doing. make sure that you understand your role. Focus on a role, but don't
go tunnel vision.
Go tunnel vision.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't just play artillery expecting artillery to be, because we saw in this patch, it's completely.
You don't know what's coming up around the corner.
Yeah, and I think that's what you need to be doing. Join, go for what. Make sure that you stay as a rock-solid team. You don't want to be switching players out all the time, especially not at the beginning.
No,
you might find some weak links, and some people have problems and stuff. But
you can't just. The biggest thing, I guess some people may know that I cast, Counter-Strike as well, but. The biggest thing for the best team is the fact that they stay together, they work through any issues. Every now and then you might go, right, this really isn't working. If they've tried to kind of work it through, it's still not happening, that's when you might consider making a change. But it's the guys who stick together that really always kind of, reap the benefits of success.
Indeed, and that's so important. I mean, you just need to be practicing at the end of the day.
Yep. So I'm just going to have a little check-up, see if we've got any invites yet. But while we do that, I think there might be some questions going on in chat, maybe. I don't know if chat's even alive out there. Hopefully you guys are. And hopefully one of our lovely ladies is keeping track of this. She normally does. She's pretty good at this. I'll give her that. I don't want to be too nice right now. But let's have a little chat with Melly, see if there's been any questions asked, see what's going on in the world, obviously out in that Twitch scary land, or Twitter or Facebook. So Melly, have we had any good questions yet?
I would really like to know why Tim shook his head when you said she's good at what she's doing.
Look, the producer hides behind the camera, he doesn't do anything. He's just there. When we play the video,
randomly his head. Yeah,
when we do the video intros, you guys should see the dance he can pull off. I kid you not. This guy starts breaking down, shimmying everywhere. It's terrible. Someday I want to turn the camera so you can see him. But yeah, have there been any questions so far?
Someday Tim will get his own cam. That would be awesome. Well, many people are asking for him, so
we'll show you Tim at some point.
Yeah,
we'll save it.
There might be a picture on my Twitter account as well, so go and check it out. And yeah, question: what kind of tanks are good for beginners? We have some new people in the World of Tank family, and
sure,
that's all you right there.
Sure.
I just stumble into
It's kind of a broad question. I mean, what do you mean by beginners? Do they have every tank unlocked in their beginnings? I guess if you're just starting, if you're going to go for a line, I would go for the America one. Go for the T1 because it's, I reckon, the best T1 out there. British one's pretty good as well, but just because I'm British, so of course it's good. But yeah, T1 I reckon is good. Start off there. Go, I reckon, towards the medium line. You want to be getting the T71, T69, T5, E1, blah, blah, blah. Too many numbers and letters for me to remember. And I'm an encyclopedia and I still don't remember it.
He kind of is, guys. I kid you not.
Yeah, and then it's the T57. So I would go up there. But if you're going to really focus on a tank to improve your skills, T71. Just stay at the T71, get good at that tank, and as soon as you start playing other tanks, you're going to find all those skills transferable. So, if you're a beginner, T71 is your best choice.
Okay, thank you for that. And we all know that our tournament is maxed to tier 8 tanks. Is there any legit reason for this?
Well, we have other tournaments. Wargaming runs some, we run some, which are other tiers and stuff. But it's kind of a big question because historically, I found like I'm a historian. Got my little spectacles
on his,
my little eyeglass and stuff.
Yeah, nice tweed jacket, I think would suit.
Yeah, but historically, it was a decision probably made either in 2011 or early 2012. We had a drill tournament, if anyone remembers what that was. I can't remember exactly which one it was.
Back in my day.
Drill the field. No, it wasn't field workout. It was one of them. It was on mines, basically. You only played on mines because, Wargaming said, okay, we need to come up with an esports format. And they tried everything else. They realized that they can't ship over 15 players to offline events. They tried that at Eurosteel. It didn't work out at all. Many, many good stories come out of that tournament, for sure. So they played mines, 7 versus 7, same format as we have now. Pretty much, some differences in terms of artillery and stuff. And it worked out pretty well. They realized that we can go down to 5 players because of how big the maps are in World of Tanks. Unlike
any
other
game.
Pretty much, yeah. But you can't do that in World of Tanks. It's too little. So yeah, played mines, played 7 versus 7. It worked out. Tier 8 points was the most balanced tier. You know, obviously, if you play tier 10, it's insane. You know, you can't play tier 10 in esports. Imagine that, playing, you know, Jagdpanzer E100 or an FE 215B or something. You know, it could one-shot tanks. It would just be mental. So we couldn't have that.
Ooh, there's tanks that can one-shot, and you haven't told me these ones. You're like,
Yeah.
focus on these ones. You know, they're great. No, I want the most overpowered one. So I'm going to watch this VOD back and be like, okay, he got asked that earlier. I'm going to find out this tank and just troll the hell out of the servers now.
It's a
Thanks
British
for that.
tank as well.
Yeah,
It does 1,750 damage average.
Ooh,
So
average.
yeah.
I like this.
I think everyone's
going to
hate
better.
you.
No, don't hate
It's
me.
the cookie cutter tank.
I can't wait. I literally after this, I'm going to log into my account. I'm going to be like, right, time to try this one out. For not esports purposes, but shh.
You have fun with that. But yeah, as I was saying, that's pretty much the reason. It's just the most balanced and the best way of doing things. Any other questions?
Yes, regarding the Clash of the Continents.
Sure.
We saw Dragonborn picking a Jagdpanther too.
Yeah.
And yeah, the main question is why?
Those curveball picks. There's been even a couple, you know, with our limitations in there. Why would they do that? Especially, you know, a game like that. You don't want to kind of throw that one away.
Well, it's happened before. I mean, Eurosteel 2012, we saw it was one of the American teams. Oh, it wasn't Eurosteel. It was WCG 2012.
Right.
One of the American teams picked it, and they basically just turtled down on Prokhorovka in the corner. And they kind of won a couple of games because of it. Fair enough, you know. I think it was one of those tournaments anyway. It kind of worked out for them. You know, there's no reason really not to pick it. I mean, it does about 450, I think, average damage, or 500, something around that line, maybe 400, between 400 and 500. I don't play it that much, I'm not going to lie. So it does a lot of damage. It's got good rate of fire, good penetration. Okay, it's got 1,150 health, which is not very much, and no armor to speak of. But if you lay down the fire, then why not pick it? There's obviously intrinsic problems with TDs, the fact that it doesn't have a turret and stuff like that, but it's got a higher camo value in general. So, you know, does the damage if you use it well. If you don't, which I think is probably the case more often than not, and that's why you see teams preferring T69s, your AMX 3090s, because they have the potential to do better. Because, you know, it's about skill cap, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, in every single walk of esports, there's a skill cap on certain things. Some things are easy to play to begin with, but then become more and more useless and less useful as you progress as a player. And I think TDs are one of those things, easy to begin with, but hard and less useful as you go on.
Yeah, it seems like maybe one of those things that it's kind of risky as well. As you said, you could very easily, if you have a bad game, let down your whole team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not one of those things that, you know, in the IS3, for example, you can play quite passively and still kind of position yourself to, you know, take the damage as such. You know, not in the best way. You don't want to be, you know, the complete and utter tank as such if you're referring to other games. But in that, as you said, there's very little armor there. You know, you don't want to be the kind of cause for a massive downfall of your team if you don't play well.
Indeed. I think it's a good question. I mean, you know, there's so many classes in World of Tanks which aren't explored as much as I thought they would be. You know, obviously Tier 8 is a restriction in esports. I think it's a good restriction. I think we should change that. You know, but as we go into other games in wargaming.net, it's a you know, pool of games they're making. You know, we've got World of Warplanes coming up as well.
I want to try that so bad. You have no idea how much I want to try that.
Such a good game.
Oh, don't you played it?
Because like open beta's released today.
Today?
Yeah, you can just
You
sign
didn't
up.
even tell me this, right? I've been sitting in the office, you know, like grinding away, making sure I'm getting my work done. You know, even during my lunch break, I was like, oh, I'm gonna
You
play a
didn't
little.
work?
Shut up, you. I have. Look, I create sheets of stuff.
It's like a geography school project, I think.
Don't
She
judge
got
me.
a little markers and stuff.
I have a highlighter. All right, I have several colors. I go through it. But no, I seriously can't wait to that one. So now you've kind of told me that. After this, I'm like, right, have my little fix of tanks. Let's go for some planes right now.
It's so much fun. It's a great game. I can't wait.
Oh man,
I think it's going to be a great game in esports. I mean, so much. Just imagine just utter destruction in the sky, planes going left, right, and center.
Don't get, look,
3D space.
We're not in game yet. Don't get me like all hyped up now because that's just cruel. That's just mean and unusual. But Melly, have we had any other awesome questions? Has there been any interaction?
We do. What does it need to be a good commander?
Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, probably just the general skills you find in any team leader. I mean, if you've ever led a project at school or university or in the workplace, you know, what does it take to be the best? Well,
what he's saying is he was
initiative
never
and stuff.
trusted to be an in-game leader, right? He was like, you know, it's like, you know, the all aim no brain kind of guy. That was.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
love this. I got these two here with me today, and probably for the next like month, just using me all the time.
I don't know what he's talking about. But no, as you said, it's a general kind of applicability towards it. It's in any game you've played, you know, you've got to be able to be cool, calm, and collected for one. The biggest thing for me is someone who doesn't lose their temper. There was a iconic player in the Call of Duty series who's the team leader of one of the best organizations.
Yeah.
And he literally made some of the most angry, emotionally invested players calm. And it's a massive thing, you know what I mean? It's so important to be able to do that, to be able to keep your players calm, work individually with them, know their strengths, know their weaknesses. You might have a certain player who's, really hot and, he just like gets really angry, frustrated. You've got to be able to kind of like keep him under, under wraps, or, focus what he's doing and his attention. And things like that, even to the minutest detail, like micromanaging your own players, sometimes, going back with them, speaking through the demo, say, okay, these were your choices made here.
Yeah.
I think maybe we can work on that, and next time let's adapt it this way, And being confident in your choices is a massive thing as well, because if you're not sure what you're doing, as you said, as one of the most important things this season so far is there might be a little bit of lack of faith in leadership.
Indeed.
You've got to be confident, and you've got to live with the consequences, because sometimes you'll call something, right, and it goes so wrong. I've been at LAN, right, and I was playing God knows what title, and literally it came down to the match point, and I was like, right, we're going to have to pull something out here because we won't win with our standard strats. And, I was like, okay, let's pull out this kind of curveball move. So we did it, and it came down to a one-on-one, and I lost, right?
Oh.
And you've got to live with your choices. You sit there, you go back through the demos, you work it out, you go, okay, it may have got to that point, but clearly we did something a little bit wrong earlier on as well to get to, that match point equal rounds.
Yep.
And sometimes you've got to sit there and kind of take the punches and go, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. This time, that's how we're going to work around it. I think there's loads of different ways you can do it, but there's some really iconic people out there who are so good at it. As you said, who's some like the really kind of iconic leaders in this game as well? Because there's some big teams out there like Team Dignitas who've been doing very well. Do they have like a strong in-game leader, or is it kind of an all-team thing, or what's their composition like?
In Team Dignitas, I think Stalker is a really iconic leader. He's been there for so long, and I think we saw at DreamHack what a great guy he is, what a great leader he is. He's ready to throw the punch, he's ready to take the punch, he's ready to spur his team on. Celebration were incredible, so much energy in the guy. He's a really good guy. Other iconic leaders, I mean, you're talking about how raging and stuff is a problem, and anger and stuff. I mean, Carmen, if you remember DreamHack, you weren't there, but it was brilliant. He puzzling pushed forwards too much on Y Park, and he got destroyed, and that's what lost them the game against against Team Dignitas, who they won 3-2 every other match day. And Carmen went mental. He literally got up and he just shouted at puzzling. It was crazy. And I think as a team leader, you don't want to be doing that too much. I mean, it's different because it depends on...
Sometimes it's very... It's very hard to keep your cool because, there's so much pressure. That's the biggest thing. You go to events, you may watch it on a stream, you may think, I'm kind of getting this, I know, some bits. Until you're there and you're in front of a huge crowd, you've got, commentators behind you, and the pressure is literally all on you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you make those stupid moves, and sometimes you push too far. Sometimes you want to be, the one to get all the attention, and it doesn't work out. But I remember my first LAN, my hands were physically shaking.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. And I wasn't even in the finals, I wasn't on the stage. But, when it comes down to it, it means everything to these players. And obviously, a team leader being that passionate, I need to watch that one back, definitely.
It was brilliant. It was amazing. I mean, probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Wow.
Probably not to puzzling, though.
Yeah, you clearly, tail between the legs, like, I'm so sorry. No more shouting, please, sir.
I think, well, what happened at my first LAN? I think at my first LAN, I was playing with a Russian team, Rush.
Okay.
And we were playing, I think it was the first ever World of Tanks offline tournament. And all the Russian guys were completely cool. We lost our first game, horribly, to Panzerfist. And everyone was cool. And I was like, shouldn't we be a little bit more emotional? But they're just, cool Russian guys. They're just completely silent.
It's that stone-cold face.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Okay.
So for me, it hasn't really been that emotional for that one. But then all the other ones, I remember Eurosteel 2012 last year, basically we had 2 minutes to join a battle. which was not enough to do. No, look how long tank picking takes now.
Yeah,
way too long. So we had to pick all our tanks, and then one of our players picked a T1 instead of I think it was an AMX 5100.
Well, that's a small choice.
And we went mental. It was for third place. I think we'd lost one game or something.
Oh,
and we were
my
just
God.
like, wow. And that was, I think I'm a bit too vocal, I think, when it comes to offline tournaments. That's why I probably don't play them anymore. But I just went mental, pretty much.
Wow.
So, yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, Abuse Me. I'm sorry, Incurably Fab. Threaten, who plays in Dragonborns now. All those
it's
guys.
like confessions time,
Sharp
you know what I
back
mean?
as well.
And they're in the church
Sorry,
with that
guys.
little kind of like barrier there, and it's like,
Yeah.
Father, I have sinned. I got really angry this one time, and I shouted at my own teammates. And
Yeah.
yeah, so clearly he's not an in-game leader. That's why he's not allowed to play anymore. I don't know why we gave him a microphone to get him louder. I don't know where the logic's in here, but clearly, you know, someone thought it was a good idea somewhere. But yeah, that's another big thing, is obviously being able to kind of remain calm, because you do have to sometimes just live with these awful choices, and
do.
you know, it works into both ways.
Yeah.
Yeesh. So yeah, any other lovely questions from chat?
Yes, a non-game related
Oh
one.
God, why are you looking at me? See, now I get worried.
You both.
Okay,
well,
look at
you
him.
started
That's
it
good.
somehow
That's
with your LAN
good.
experiences, and the community wanted to know your most awkward moment of casting.
Oh, there's been so many. I
The thing
kid
is,
you not.
I can't really answer this question that well, because my first
Oh,
event was
really?
earlier this year in January in IM Katowice.
Okay.
But probably my most awkward moment I can't talk about. So
Okay.
over to Pansy.
I've got a couple here. There's so many I can go to, but I'll try and keep it PG-13.
I'm going to sit back and relax this.
I'll keep it PG-13 for you guys. Some of you may know a small, other game caster, Lee D-Man something. D-Man someone, I
Never heard of him.
never heard of him, right? Right? He's small, doesn't really know. I used to cast another game with him, and basically we were, about to go into the game. I think it was like the last day, the finals were coming up, and I was all professional, suited up, shirt on the lot, and I was pretty good. I'd gone out the night before.
Oh, problems.
Shut up. I went out the night before, and basically I had a little bit to drink. But I was fine. I handled myself. I was out with a team called Team Phantasmagoria, right?
Wow.
It's a bit of a mouthful, to say the least. So, on the intro, we were bantering away. He doesn't get anywhere near as much banter as I gave to that poor guy. Like, I think he quit the title we were doing to go to another because of me. I take full blame for that. But basically, we were doing the introduction, and then we were like, oh, so last night, how did that go? You have fun? And I was like, well, I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling good. And he went, well, I saw you took to get to bed fantasy, right? And I was like, pardon? And basically, Fantasy was a player in one of these teams. He didn't mean to say that. I literally took the guys from the team and made sure they went to their rooms. But he phrased it so poorly, I just saw chat go, oh my God! And I was just like, no, you didn't just say that, really? And I can't drop him back in it right now. It's already been made. So I was just like, anyway, back to the game. Let's have a little talk about the game, guys.
Just going completely red.
I was glowing at this point. Like, my face was like a beetroot. It was appalling. Like, Melly's enjoying this, all right? Look, it's not even funny, all right? Seriously, I've had so many moments that have just gone so wrong. It's unbelievable.
Amazing.
So, yeah, basically, I have been dropped in it so many times like that. And his face, though, he was, like, grinning. That's the worst thing. He didn't even feel guilty about it. He was just sitting there like, you're in trouble. I was like, yes, I am. I was responsible,
Why
but
have I
now
not
I'm in
heard these
trouble.
stories before?
Because I hide them. I bury them deep, as far deep as I can, for a very good reason. There was another one where we were casting an event, and basically we're casting the same room, which is already a bit of an issue. I was casting a different title where I get pretty loud. Like, when I get into it, the volume goes up a lot. So I was, we were casting away, and there was another game casting in the other corner. It was literally like, it was 10 steps away. They were quite quiet. They were being very serious, And it was only group stages, but still, they were serious face. They were focused up, and I was like, okay, fine. So we kind of a little bit of a contest, all right? That's all I'm going to say. I kind of wanted to make it so loud that they couldn't ignore me, and we had this little back and forth, and eventually I kind of beat them, right? So the next day, we walked back into the same room, and there's this, like, huge barrier being created with, like, all the spare boxes of, like, the computer parts. And I'm like, you're right, guys, they completely blanked me. And I had to be in a room with these people for, like, 3 more days who now hate my guts. And I'm just like, I'm really sorry for this, because I didn't realize that was their first ever kind of, experience at LAN. I was being a complete douchebag to them, basically. It was the only way I can describe it. So these guys now hated me. And I had to share a stage with them.
Yeah.
Oh, it went very wrong, to say the very least. I think I now have 2 people who genuinely hate me for that one. I'm trying to think of any other stories. There's a good couple of interviews that have gone so desperately wrong. I don't want to kind of go into too much detail, because some of them are a little bit, after the, watershed kind of moments where you have to keep it, a little bit quiet. But yeah, there's been certainly some interesting stories, to say the least. Thanks for bringing that one up.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking them.
Never again. So, Emily, any others that may spring to mind? Any good questions?
No questions so far, but if you have still any unanswered questions, keep them coming over the Twitch chat or over Twitter by following WoT Pro League, or they call me Pansy, or Laughter WoT.
Wow, I love how you say my name.
I thought, I was like, why would he call himself Laughter WoT? That's an awful name, right?
It's just laughter.
Laughter.
Just laughter.
Like
That's my Twitter
Slaughter?
name, yeah.
I thought of Slaughter, to be honest.
He's not that aggressive,
Wow.
gee.
Wow.
I don't
He's
know.
like a little pussycat. He's like, oh.
See, you see what I'm talking about? I get
And I
bullied
thought
here.
he was like
Call childline
pretty
in a minute.
mean.
They already know about me, it's fine. But no, it's adorable, though. You spend like more time getting ready for the show than me.
I heard
another
about a
tip.
contest going on.
What?
About
Oh,
What? I'm worried.
Oliver's Twitter account.
Oh, right.
my
So
God.
what's this?
You
what's
actually
this
brought
going
it
on?
up.
Of course I did.
Oh, he's looking a little bit nervous now. What's this about, Melly?
I don't
This
know.
might be my most embarrassing cast at the
I
moment.
don't know.
Oh,
you
we
can
can
follow
only
the
help.
whole conversation on Twitter. It happened, I guess, last night.
Okay. Well, did you do it
Bump
for?
brought
Come
it up.
on.
I don't know. Bump was visiting Korea, I guess, and brought
Okay.
home some nice stuff. And I was like, oh, I want some of, I don't know, action figures and
Yeah,
stuff.
some
and
freebies, some cool bits,
exactly.
yeah.
And I was like, I want some too. And he just said, yeah, there must be something that I can give to you. And then, well,
Yeah.
Ollie came up with that he wanted something as well.
Yeah. It was actually a computer, and it wasn't what Bump said, which was a schoolgirl's Korean
Korean
uniform.
schoolgirl's
Oh, what?
outfit.
Why did I say that?
And
Oh,
if we hit 1K followers on,
On his Twitter?
oh yeah,
That's a task.
Notice how
That's a tough
notice I don't
task.
have anything to do with this, and I didn't say anything about 1K
I
well,
am
Twitter.
Bump
making
said
I
you
have
will wear that
130
outfit.
Twitter
making
followers.
Bump
I think.
said you will wear that outfit.
I won't. Well, I might
Make
do
it
in my private
We're
time.
so
I'll
afraid
get
now.
pictures. It's fine. Apparently, I follow teams to bed anyway, according to what my old coach
True
asked. So I can sneak into his room anyway with the camera, so boop, and I'll get it there. But obviously, we are just trying to find out exactly and get some content to you guys and get some interaction. But we are still waiting on these two teams.
We can
We're gonna
have a
find
look
out.
on the predictions.
Ah,
if you
awesome!
like.
That is super cool. So what are
Let
the
me
people
just
thinking right
bring
now?
them up. Well, as I put them online, it started out with like 80% for Team Dignitas,
Wow,
and the whole chat
that's-
was like, yeah, Dignitas will win this one, definitely. And the comments are all like 3-0, 3-1, so it should be, when it comes to the prediction of our community and audience and all of you guys watching this lovely stream right now, then Team Dignitas should bring it home. Pretty clear. But my
Okay.
Facebook crashed, so I can't
It's always the way it works.
check out the actual results. But yeah, it should be something around 80%.
Wow.
So pretty clear
80%.
for Team Dignitas.
That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty
Yeah.
steep right there. So
Yeah.
faith in Team Dignitas clearly. But guys, we're going to try and find out exactly what's going on with these two teams. Give you a little update in about 5 minutes there. So do stay tuned, do stick around. Make sure you get your drinks ready because it's going to be an incredible game as soon as we get back. But we're going to find out exactly what's going on with those two. So we'll be back in 5.
And the surrounding tracks in mind. The direction we were going for.
Exploration of space. Exploration of space. Exploration of space. Exploration of space.
Hey everyone, this is Ali and Fila and you're listening to a special preview of Quiet Storm, our new album on the State of Trance. And this is the future favorite, Mysteries Unfold, the uplifting mix. Thank you all for voting.
The most popular track of last week's Stay in Trance.
So welcome back. Obviously there was a little bit of a wait, but I assure you it will be worth it. Team Dignitas up against GF Gaming. Now these two have been battling their way through just the first games they got had today, so they've had a tough battle to say the very least, but we are invited, we're almost ready to go. So just bear with us a sec. But obviously Team Dignitas, GF Gaming, two very strong teams. Hopefully we have a little look at the lineup so you can take us through exactly what we're expecting to see with these guys.
Yeah. Well, we got Evil Panda Squad just beat GF Gaming. Let's say that first, 3-2, and that's what delayed us the battle so much. Apparently, incredible games there. But on GF Gaming, we've got Goomis, very old player, Gervas, Faith No More, obviously their team captain, brilliant team captain. A couple of new players as well in there. The Fallen, Virtus, actually no, he's not a new player. He's been there for a while. Gervas as well, Palermos. That big beast from the East, brilliant guy as well. Look forward to meeting him again. He's a really good guy. And then on Team Dignitas' side, we've obviously got the infamous Stalker UA, the team captain. Obviously, this team being the first place finisher of Season 1. Arclit played that IS-3 so well in that last game against Virtus Pro. Angel Killer as well, their T-2 driver. Applewell, absolutely fantastic AMX 3090 driver. You know, and what's so amazing about their team is the fact that they don't, they don't have, like, like Virtus Pro, you have your, like, Breakneck or something, who's just amazing. But for Dignitas, it's about the team as a whole. They play
just overall, just that stability that always seems to come with that Team Dignitas name. I don't know what it is with that team. I don't know what they feed them, in the Team Dignitas houses, somewhere. But clearly they keep these guys, pumped up because they always seem to do that. They always seem to gel so well. You know what I mean? Like, every single player knows how to play their role. They play so well together. Great chemistry, great leadership. I'm expecting Team Dignitas here to do well, and clearly Melly earlier already told us about what you guys at home are thinking. So hopefully you're right, and hopefully I'm right for once. Because last week it was him being right, which was awful. We never want that again. But I want your predictions on this as well, because obviously you've kind of seen these teams progress. You saw Team Dignitas probably not as strong as they are now, but they've become what they are now. What do you think? How do you think it's going to go? Give me a scoreline.
Well, I think 3-1. I think towards Team Dignitas,
okay.
but. I think GF Gaming, just looking at the other results they had against EPS, 3-2, and EPS are doing very well, Evil Panda Squad with EPS.
That's true.
So they'd be doing not so well. I mean, it's their 7th loss, but they're on the way up.
Close results.
Once they're there's only way up. They can only go up from here. They're at the bottom and they can only go up. So I think, having gone so close to winning against Evil Panda Squad in the last game, they'll have that confidence that, that they can possibly win here against Dignitas. But it's going to be so hard. Dignitas is such a strong team, and they're getting better and better. They're certainly not going down. It's a stable team. They've got always the same players. I mean, the only real difference is they got Geralt as a T1 player this season, and they didn't really use him last season. But, tank picking has started. 2 MX 3090 from Dignitas, replied by Faith No More with a T1 and an AMX 3090. Stalker replying to that pick by taking T1 and T69. Faith No More opting for the same T69 and T1. AMX 3090 and T1 being picked by Dignitas. And then we have Faith No More from GF Gaming, pick a T69, AMX 3090. So, nothing unusual. We always see these kind of tank lineups on steps. What's slightly strange is that teams are starting to go towards having like 4 or 5 AMX 3090s on steps, but again, we've been talking about this a lot today. It's about using the tanks your players feel comfortable in, and the strategy that you're going to do with it.
Indeed. I was about to ask, has there been a bit of an interesting one thrown out there, and I see this pick that's, I've seen it once before, I think. So is this an interesting choice coming out?
It's an interesting choice for sure. I mean, it's what you might pick as a team on Prokhorovka or steps. Because it's a kind of a counter towards your auto-loading tanks. It's a good one. I mean, 250, about 7 seconds reload, decent health, decent armor, decent speed. It goes actually pretty quick, like 65 kilometers an hour. So yeah, very good speed, good maneuverability and traverse and stuff like that. So I don't like it personally as a player, but in the right hands, it's fantastic. MX 1390 was the last pick from GF Gaming. They have given us the signal that they are ready. we're just going to let them know they're ready. Dignitas also saying that they're ready. So we should be in game within the next few seconds. Once again, we do apologize by the delay. It was just to do with the previous match. So we should be here. We should be ready to go in game. It's on steps. So it's GF Gaming versus Team Dignitas. Your first place pretty much against your last place teams. GF Gaming starting from the south. I'll be following them. Pansy will be following Team Dignitas from the north. And I think we're in for a real treat. Looks like GF Gaming are playing pretty offensively from the get-go.
Yeah, and I think I can say just about the same thing for Team Dignitas for now. But let's make sure they don't really throw us a curveball here. We've seen a couple of times on especially newer-ish maps, I can say. That, you know, a couple of teams have really gone a little bit crazy, but the early spots have been made. So Dignitas doing nicely. You know, they're working that defilade on the northeast side of the map, working up that 8 and 9 line, just trying to play with it, you know, making sure they don't overexpose themselves and show their hand too early. Yeah,
indeed. I mean, they don't want to get found out too quickly. They don't want to give away their strategy. Gervaz reversing actually towards Team Dignitas right now. He wants to get the spots out. He doesn't want to be in the wrong direction with that tank. He wants to be able to accelerate very quickly. Pretty much the mainstay of how you play light tanks these days. We actually saw Palermo's go quite far forwards in his AMX 1390. Quite strange because usually you see the tanks that are behind him, Cesarak, Provat and the Fallen, they're usually there to support him. You don't usually send one tank so far forwards on its own, but I guess it will work. Gumis spotting out Arklit and Povel actually in those 3 AMX 1390. Also we have got Garrett there. Strange though, Garrett is playing an AMX 1390, usually plays their T1.
Yeah, interesting choices, and I think Dignitas' initial kind of push down that 9-0 line has kind of been spotted here. They've once again spotted that 1390, just keeping eyes on it. No real connections made yet. There were a couple of shots given, and just as I spoke, Stalker goes down, and that's the captain already out of the game.
Indeed, but that will let them. It will let him focus entirely upon the game, which I guess is a good. True. You know, it's flip side. You got a good thing, you got a bad thing. Gervaz did receive quite a hefty shot there, taking down to 880 in his AMX 1390. Gumis trying to back him up there. He wants to be spotting out onto Team Dignitas and possibly connecting their first proper damage shell. Obviously, Stalker going down that T1, but pretty much without consequence. Shanish is spotted as well, but you know, we can talk about the T1 play from Dignitas a little bit because often Stalker goes down at the beginning of the game. I'm not sure if it's one of their tactics, losing their T1 just for the sake of Stalker having free hands then to coordinate, or if it's just because he's not playing the T1 particularly well.
It could be. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays into it. Now, obviously, as you said, he does have that overall control. But whether or not that pays off, you can see things are certainly making a bit of a mark here. You do see Apple Wow and Garrett splitting off and pushing up now even further down that 0 line. So we could see some action soon. Yeah,
we certainly could. It looks like GFG Gaming are going straight up towards the base cap of Team Dignitas. They're pushing quite heavily. All their tanks are there. There's nothing to spot the cap in case Team Dignitas come back with a capping strategy. Usually you see like a Spell tactic, sending 2 T69s, keeping 2 T69s back to stop the cap, but GF Gaming have gone straight forwards.
Yeah, and Apple Wow has pushed right up, catching a good glimpse of Faith in the Moor, who's now going to be in trouble. But you can see the T1 for Team Dignitas has spotted the oncoming forces. So you have to see if these Dignitas guys are going to, you know, completely commit or fall back and try and help out at the moment.
Yeah, this is being found out completely by Team Dignitas. They know exactly what GF Gaming are doing right now. Arklit receiving the first shell in his WZ-132 Duke, going down to 795, 1050. For a tier 8 tank is a questionable amount of HP. He has to play it like a glass cannon, regardless of its armor potential and its bouncing potential. Arklit retreating, knowing that full well could be a problem, as it does look like Team Dignitas are going. Oh no, GF Gaming are going for a full cap strategy, putting pretty much every tank in there.
Well, we're going to have to see if Team Dignitas can somehow find a way back into this one. They're all flooding back towards their own flag right now. Arclet, as you said, being careful, being cautious. But Garrett certainly isn't right now. So Garrett pushing straight through, looking straight towards us, trying to find out exactly where these guys are. Obviously, they know we're a good few, but Arclet's going to be the one to have to make the difference here.
Yeah, 10 seconds left, 9, 8 seconds. Reset going on to Sergas, and now Team Dignitas has surrounded GF Gaming, and I think they're safe to know that they can actually stop the cap. GF Gaming should leave the cap right now. They should not be in there. You can see so much damage being put onto GF Gaming. Palermos and Gervas are going to try and take Garrett. Garrett's got to be playing very carefully. He's down. He actually goes down, but there goes down Applewell as AMX13. 1-for-1 exchange here.
Yeah, indeed. Applewell is in a fantastic position, furthering up, as you saw there. And we just have to see if they can keep edging away at the GF Gaming side. And Arclet is down. You said he should have been cautious, maybe a little bit further. And Gerwas and Applewell exchanging, the victor being Applewell there.
Yeah, I don't know why the Fallen, why Gervat should have pushed so far forwards then. He also gets a Janish actually replying with a kill on Serkas. I think GF Gaming had it in their hands. They're just kind of throwing it at the moment, losing tanks left, right and center. They should play a bit more carefully. Shanish will be reloading. Fallen should go in and try and take down Applewell and Povel, both tanks on very low health. Although Shanish, he will have the 25-second reload on that T69.
Yeah, indeed, and Shanish has now spotted both of them. Going to lay down the first shell, does connect, knocking him down to 2-4-5. Oh, doesn't get the second, now he's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, indeed, Shanish is getting taken low. Povel's from behind, you'll be able to take down him no problem at all. And now it's only the Fallen left with 245 HP to do the rest of the damage. Actually, Povel bouncing his first shell onto Povel, but onto Gervas, but you know, no consequence. Took him down, no problem. And 1-0 to Team Dignitas.
Yeah, and Applewell getting 4 players then. Perfect play, even under pressure. Team Dignitas, as you know and love them, always just seem to be able to step up that little bit further.
Yeah.
You know, initially, not great. You know, they had a bit of an exchange. They saw the push happening. They responded. They had the exchange on the actual flag, their flag. And I think it was Arclet there who got taken out almost. I think it wasn't the first to fall, but he was damaged. He had to play carefully.
Yeah.
And yet they still somehow held on to that. How did they pull that off?
Yeah, no, I think it's the difference between an experienced and an inexperienced team.
Yeah.
You know, GF Gaming had the advantage for sure. They took out 2 tier 8 tanks to 1, so they could have won that from that point onwards regardless. But, you know, the Team Dignitas, they had the experience, as you've been saying, to just play properly, to do the damage, to keep calm, keep collected. Stalker was probably not so calm and collected.
Calling the shots.
Yeah, calling the shots. And that's why they won. GF Gaming just didn't have that edge. You know, I think from GF Gaming mistakes where they should have stayed back a little bit, they should have reset the fight, they should have left the cap immediately. As soon as they saw Garat was out of position, they should have pushed all tanks onto him, take down Garat, and then reset the fight and just know that they have the damage and the HP advantage, and then just decide the next move from there when things have cooled down a little.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, you know, that's the difference between Team Dignitas, the first place so far in Season 2, and obviously the very bottom. But still, it was a close one.
Yeah,
I can't say, you know, it was a complete whitewash. It wasn't, you know, just literally like bam, 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 they all fall down. At least they tried. They put, you know, they put the effort forward. They made, you know, the calls. They tried to stick with it. Clearly, they stuck a little bit too much with it on the flag there, as you said. Presence shouldn't have been left lingering that long. They probably should have retracted a touch and then, you know, maybe re-challenge at a better point. But you know, choices are made, and clearly, you know, having your team captain calling the shots, you know, as Stalker was, it does help out for Team Dignitas. But they're almost ready to get underway into map number 2. It will be Ensk. But let's have a look at the tank pick so far. Anything jumping out to you, or very standardized? I
think very standardized is the answer to that. IS3 T1 being picked by GF Gaming. Stalker from Dignitas replying with 2 T1s. GF Gaming opting for the MX-5100 and T1. Dignitas picking 2 MX-5100s. I think Dignitas is a fan of the IS-3. I think the teams that do enjoy using that tank over the MX-5100. That's why perhaps they've only picked 2 MX-5100s thus far. But, you know, GF Gaming, they do like their standard picks, so I think they're going to go for 2 MX-5100s, at least 2, perhaps 3, and an IS-3. And there we go, GF Gaming picking an IS-3 and an MX-5100.
Yeah, indeed. So not any curveballs, very simple, very to the point. And that's why I quite like these maps, because you get to see the raw skill of the teams coming through. And it's, you may see a couple of cheesy strats almost coming out sometimes, but these two clearly playing it very much, to the line. They, they're keeping very simple and, just depending on their own ability, which they certainly can do.
Yeah, indeed. Stalker picking the AMX 5100 autoloader plus the T69 autoloader. Pretty deadly combo in the right hands, that's for sure. Faith No More from GF Gaming picking the T69, and we'll see what Team Dignitas' last pick will be. It will be the IS-3, the Russian Tier 8 heavy tank. A fan favorite and a team favorite in this season, and your favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Shame you suck. I'm joking.
Wow. Horrible co-casting. Absolutely horrible. He's a nasty man, isn't he, folks? But still, we're trying to get him to a schoolgirl outfit. We've got to be nice to him, right? But we have seen the picks going out, so they're just going to take a second to talk through things, make sure they're ready, because obviously Ensk. It's a very quick action map for me. I've always seen it, going down to, it's a little bit tense at the start, a lot of spots come out, and then it explodes.
Indeed.
All in one moment. And I can't wait to see what goes down here, because GF Gaming didn't come off too badly from that exchange, even on the first map, but Dignitas were clearly superior. So I want to see if they can maybe improve on a more city-based map, or maybe this suits them a little bit better, because, obviously everyone's played Ensk, so, you know what I mean? It's going to be interesting. I want to know your prediction on this map. How do you think this one's going to go down?
Well, I always say that the Polish teams are very strong on Himmelsdorf and Ensk, the city maps. So I think GF Gaming, they should have a better chance than they did on Steps. And on Steps, they did pretty well. Yeah. So if that's anything to go by, on a map they actually should be good at, and they have been good at, and they have the results on, like Ensk, then I think they have a pretty good chance of taking this one. Dignitas, they've had a few good games at Ensk, but it's certainly not their favorite map. So I think it's going to be a tricky one, but I would say it comes down to some sort of firefight, and whichever one wins, on terms of the higher damage rolls, so not on player skill or tactics, will take this fight, and that could be either team.
A way to sit on the fence there. Jeez. Come on, make a call right now. Who is going to be better off in this map?
Dignitas, I think. Well, Faith No More, he just said they're playing from the north. I think it's the harder side to play from. I think if GF Gaming played from the south, then it would be another story. I think Dignitas were going to take it but only by a small margin. Exactly. Skin of their teeth.
We'll have to see. I don't know, but we are going to find out momentarily. It's going to be Ensk. It's going to be incredible. I want to see if GF Gaming can somehow, pick themselves up here. They're not exactly looking wonderful throughout their previous results, but now could be their turning point. And Ensk is certainly a map that can accommodate that. We've seen the picks. We've seen the teams. Let's get ready.
So here we go again, GF Gaming versus Team Dignitas. This is game 2, which saw Dignitas narrowly win against GF Gaming on Steps. If we have a repeat of that, this is going to be a fantastic game. As I said, this is possibly where GF Gaming could take a win if they do any map today against Team Dignitas. Straight away, they're playing pretty defensively, setting up actually no more than maybe 15 to 30 meters away from their spawn points. What are Team Dignitas doing? Because they're definitely the more offensive team.
They are, but it's a little bit of a strange one. We see one player splitting off, pushing straight down in that T69. So it's obviously Shannon Sherry who's pushed right up the center, down at 6 and 7, applying prominent pressure initially, but he's obviously keeping eyes on things. Already spotting that IS-3, the T1. And, being fairly predominant in this game so far. Bar that, aside from the usual T1 splitting off down that 0 line towards that green section, fairly defensive. The AMX 5100s on the flag. The other one split off to the west of the map there, just on that one line. Very passive.
Yeah, that passive play could be indicative of maybe a new tactic Team Dignitas have. If they're over that side, actually we have an engagement going on between Provat and Stalker. Proviant and Stalker even, both destroying the house in front. We'll see who actually can come off with a win here. This will be very important because actually Arclight just taking a big shot from, I believe that was Palermos in the IS3, going down to 1,093 HP. Stalker taking another shot. Now he will probably get taken down. He has to do the shots on the move. But Provian made a bit of a meal of it, but he eventually goes down. But Shanish replying with a kill with the T69. So 1T1 each, but you know, Dignitas did lose quite a lot of health from Arclight.
And I've got to say, Shanish missed the shells there. He was meant to bail out his buddy. He didn't do it, and that's, you know, the issue right then. He should have connected that. They've lost their team captain, but as you said, sometimes maybe that's what they want to be doing, but I don't think that situation went the way it should be, and that's very un-Dignitas-like. Maybe this is something a little bit uncomfortable here.
Yeah, they're having a shaky start for sure. I mean, we thought they would be a little bit more assertive. And I'm not sure exactly why they're playing so defensively. I mean, look at on your screens now, you see most of their tanks towards their cap, even towards their spawn areas, to be honest. We are seeing finally Shanish pushing up in that T69, but I don't think he's going to do much there. Palermo's being spotted in the IS3. I'm wondering if Team Dignitas want to push over the green zone. That's why maybe they have so many tanks towards that area. But, you know, why they have the MX-5100 all the way towards the left side? I have no idea.
It's a weird setup. We've seen, obviously, the swing of the MX-5100s before. They come completely around. But, you know, this is a very strange start for Team Dignitas.
Indeed. Palermo's just trying to connect another shell onto Arclight, and so far he's been the better IS3 player, obviously making the first shell against Arclight. Arclight missing in. Palermo's did connect, I believe, but did no damage. Maybe not, maybe. But it's 1 versus 1. Actually, Arclight taking 2 huge hits, 402 followed by 278, going down to 413. And GF Gaming looking so good at the moment. If they continue with this form, where they're going to end up at the end of the season, I have no idea. It's
hardcore right now, and they're literally chipping away at Team Dignitas. They're literally at their heels. Little Jack Russell just constantly taking down the HP. You know, Arclight is now left on 413. That's massive difference there. Obviously, he didn't make any connection, and now he's in trouble. He got a little bit too, you know, offensive. He pushed a little bit too far. He exposed himself to the Fallen, and he felt the consequences.
Indeed, indeed. Gumis just took a shot, I believe, from one of the MX-5100s. I think Povel's over in that left corner. He did do 293, taking him down to 109, 1,091 health. Probably a little bit more than 293, actually. Serkaz and Gumis are pushing. Actually, they want to play a little bit more offensively, but now Team Dignitas know where these two MX-5100s are. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, indeed. Arclight's pushing up a little bit slowly but surely. You can see the shells in front of him hitting on the buildings. They didn't quite connect there, but still, he's got to be careful. He's very much, you know, on his own at the moment, and I'm a little bit worried for him. Even as good as he is, he's been taking the damage. He's been allowing them to apply the pressure, and Dignitas look like they're just waiting to receive right now rather than, you know, attacking or bringing the action.
Indeed, Arclight being spotted again. I think one of the moves GF Gaming should do, they should push right into this area here.
Oh, nice connection though from that IS3. They have managed to finally do some damage.
Yeah, well played. Faith No More getting taken down by Shanish in that T69. But now Team Dignitas have the advantage of taking all the T1s down, so they'll be able to push without pretty much any consequences, because now GF Gaming will be blind on the green area. But Palermo's taking a big shot there. Gervas is going to get completely annihilated if he doesn't be careful, because he got tracked in the open and without any spots.
Oh, and wow, Arclight is somehow staying alive, but not for long. Quickly avenged. But, well, the damage is certainly being applied right now. Team Dignitas look a little bit lost for a reply at the moment.
Yeah, now we're seeing a very assertive move from GF Gaming. They're pushing straight onto Povel. Povel's got to be careful. I mean, he has the advantage of doing the first shot. Serkaz actually connects the second shot, and now Serkaz is in trouble. He's down to 170%. One more shot with it. Povel taking him down. Spectacular play from him, but now Team Dignitas are on the back foot slightly.
Yeah, indeed. They did not expect to see Garrett there as well, and that's exactly what caught them off guard and made Dignitas kind of keep hold of this just a touch. And Dignitas moving in. Applewell and Garrett now picking up the mantle and doing some damage, but Gumis still gets out of there alive.
Yeah, well, I think that was more of a player skill area there from Serkaz. I think he shouldn't have pushed so far forwards, because if he pushed that far forwards, he should have expected to get a side shot, and that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly why he went down. So a little bit of teething problems they have there, but, you know, good assertive move from them. I didn't expect them to be so offensive.
Yeah, indeed. And Applewell and the Fallen exchanging here, and Applewell is playing perfectly, being very aggressive and taking him down, just enjoying, playing that tank. Perfect positioning, perfect play, and I love Dignitas in their executions. It's always so spot on, and even now, Pobble managed to find Garrows there, and this is just Dignitas all over.
Indeed, indeed. I think it just comes down to they just play so perfectly. They know exactly what to do. They react so perfectly. It's about a reactionary play we always talk about. Now it's all up to Kumis, though. He's left on 92 out of 1,400 HP in his AMX 5100. Although I think it would be a tall ask, and Tovel comes from the side and takes him out. 2-0 to Team Dignitas.
I absolutely loved that. That reactive play was so perfect. It was unbelievable. They were on the back foot. The early exchanges were not in their favor in any way. Every time they took a shell, they couldn't find the reply. And then somehow they waited for them to make the move, and literally their counters were so good.
So good.
Applewell, oh my god, the way he played it, literally when they had the initial disadvantage, that maybe they received a shell. They already had 2 tanks ready to make the reply. Every single time they worked out an advantage in a situation that initially they didn't have. Team Dignitas, I might have to buy a new T-shirt with Team Dignitas on it, I don't know. But those guys, that's fantastic play.
Really, really fantastic, and you would expect no less from a team that came first. And I think, they're going to be our first phase finisher in Season 2 as well. I mean, I'm going to put it out there. If it turns out to be the case, I'm just going to be like, I said this in Matchday 8. I said it, and I'm going to.
Wow, you can't cling on to it for that long. That's not cool. But yeah, I'm certainly a bit of a fan now. These guys have just to lose the upper hand so early on. They lost the team leader very early to a mistake almost. They were expecting someone to connect the shot. It didn't happen. The shell did not land where he wanted to. They lost their team captain, and suddenly, here comes Team Dignitas. They switch on, and every reply was perfect. Watch that one back. If you want to know how to work as a team, and even at a disadvantage, and how to challenge.
We saw it on 2 maps as well. Steps was the same. They were at a disadvantage and they came back. So 2 in a row. It's not like it's a fluke that happens. No. It's something that's been drilled into them, and they know what to do as a team. But our next map will be Abbey. In fact, a huge map. I think this is going to be a tricky one because anything can happen, and we see it over and over again. Teams that are perhaps a little weaker winning because they just make the reactionary play. They see. Okay, they've got a T1 over there, so we can kind of guess maybe there's a couple of other tanks there, and they're just pushing for the cap, and they win by capping. That's what can happen on this map, anything. And I think it's Ensk was a bit more clear-cut to Dignitas, but this one it's honestly up in the air.
We're just going to have to see how it plays out for them. Obviously, GF Gaming always seem to make the first move, and they make it correctly. The reply, sometimes a little bit tentative, but that final move, that final kind of knocking point towards it, towards that end goal, it's always Team Dignitas, always. It's unbelievable. I love watching them play right now. I think it's just awesome. They're literally a team that can lose what they shouldn't and then just kind of pull it back up, and that just defines them as a team for me at the moment. I want to see what they can bring here, because I can imagine GF Gaming will initiate perfectly. They'll make that first shell count. They'll make that first, kill count. And then somehow Dignitas will go, okay, let's just flip this situation on its head. Why not? Let's just completely throw off the casters who are like, oh, these guys have finally got the edge. Wait, no, they don't. It's gone. Jeez. Okay, I'm going to push you for a choice here. What's going to be the defining play in this? You said it's very hard to predict. Yeah. But you've watched Dignitas for ages. You've seen GF Gaming now. Who's going to be the defining player in this one? Who's going to make that big play?
I think Applewell will make the big play because he'll be the one in the middle making their shots, probably the blind shots. In fact, we see that's such an important skill to have, especially on Abbey, where usually teams are along the mountain area making blind shots in the middle and vice versa. So I think it's in Applewell's hands.
He played well on the first couple of maps, to be fair. I think he got 4 in the first. Yeah. In the second, in conjoint with the others, he was fantastic. Yeah. We're going to have to see if he can pull it out again. So I think they are actually starting to pick, guys. So hopefully we can kind of understand what they're, maybe wanting to challenge with, or maybe they're going to be passive with. Take us through this so far. So
Stalker picking 2 AMX 3090 is pretty standard pick on Abbey. Faith No More from GF Gaming picking an AMX 3090 T1. So far, nothing unusual. It'll be interesting to see which team, if any, picks the T71. I think there's a 50-50 chance, although Dignitas aren't massive fans of the T71. They don't seem to like it. They don't seem to be able to make it work. GF Gaming, we watched them in the first match day. I'm not sure if they're fans of T71. I know they're a team that are a fan of just more standard picks, reliable picks. You know, they're not like your mouse sports that pick like double grill on Ensk or something crazy like that. It looks like we're just waiting on Dignitas to make their second pick. I'm predicting T69 AMX 1390 or a T1.
Gonna have to find out. You've called it, and to be fair, your predictions recently have been very good.
Pretty good, aren't they?
I'm kind of worried here. I think he's picking the games. He's like, all right, I know these odds. I know how this one's gonna go. I'm gonna pick this one to broadcast. And to be fair, we've had some great games. If I'm completely honest with you, I'm loving watching this. It may seem one-sided at points, but you can see why. It really shows you the class of the certain teams as well. That's what I like to see. And obviously, you know, watching rank #1 in season 2 this early on, you know, I thought maybe they might not be warmed up yet, or maybe they don't quite not deserve, but they don't quite, you know, have that class set in or that ability there. It's just because of, you know, the changes they've adapted to it a little bit better. But right now, I'm being treated to some damn good World of Tanks.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, everyone is. Hope you guys are enjoying it at home, wherever you are. Just waiting on Team Dignitas to pick. I said they got some chat lag. I'm not sure what that is. I've never experienced it before. Maybe some dodgy internet connection somewhere, I don't know. But as I said, I think we're going to be seeing T69 and MX 1390. Depends where Team Dignitas want to pick their T1. We will be playing on Abbey next, you can see. I think Team Dignitas are going to be starting south. I think this is maybe GF Gaming's pick, actually, this map. Maybe a map they feel more confident on. I haven't seen them maybe for a very long time play on this. It was one of the maps which was picked quite early on as a kind of an esports map, and it was a lot different from now. You know, completely different. This is probably the map that's been affected most by the physics we saw in 8.0, but it's still a good map. I still enjoy it. It's one of the funner maps for sure. I'm just glad we don't have Airfield or Y Park anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I obviously watched the VODs back, but why not? Explain to me now. You're going to have to talk to me now. You know, you've made this call. I want to know why.
Explain yourself.
Explain yourself, child.
Well, Airfield, it wasn't too bad. I mean, we always saw a victor pretty much. We kind of saw draws, but they were quite rare. But the problem was, basically, the push was in the last minute. Like, the teams were like, okay, let's just try and take out one tank in the last 10 seconds and hope that we don't lose one, so we win by 8 tier points. That was the problem with it. White Park was just downright unfair, I think. From the north, teams picking it would always almost win. Like, it would be the 5th map choice, so in case a team got to the 5th map, okay, let's just pick White Park from the north, so we can get the win and we can win the whole thing. We saw it so many times, and we're like, no, we don't want that anymore. And that's why we have Ruinberg in place of White Park, and we've obviously got Steps in place for Airfield. So, you know, it's nice, though, because now we've got 2 open maps, Prokhorovka and Steps, and we always enjoy Steps. It's always been a good map.
It really has. It's shown a lot of, like, not random tactics, but they've shown a lot of kind of, like...
diversity.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just your standard, okay, let's hold here.
Yeah.
Let's adapt when it happens. It's been interesting, and I like kind of seeing that. It brings out a little bit of flavour. And obviously, you saying it obviously was very one-sided. I haven't even seen that. So, you know, I've been... Since Season 2, I've been enjoying these games. It's been very, you know, unique. It's always shown, you know, which team was better, not, you know, what map side favoured them more. So, I think the maps we currently have are brilliant. Like, Abby's always given us an interesting kind of show, to say the very least.
Yeah, indeed. As I say all the time, it's a great map, and I think we're in for a great game here. Obviously, if Team Dignitas win, they will go 3-0 against GF Gaming. GF Gaming, I mean, they narrowly almost took it against the Evil Panda Squad in Matchday 7, our last match day, 3-2, and apparently those were incredible games. I'm really looking forward to watching the replays. And having said that, you guys can check out the replays if you just go to the ESL EU World of Tanks page. We've got all of our replays, all the screenshots up in the Season 2 results. You can check them out, and you can watch all the games there. Do that if you want to just, you know, have a little...
He's no Melly, is he?
You know, have a little look at, you know, how the teams are playing. It's great. We have got tank picking continuing. T69 AMX 5100 being played, being picked even by Dignitas. Faith No More also picking a T69. He's also gone for the T1 pick, which is a bit strange at this point. Stalker picking T1, T71. So they are actually going for that T71.
Okay.
Quite unusual.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if that one works out for Dignitas, obviously. And look at their previous results, obviously 3-0, you know, winning over Isuba, 3-1 Dragonborns, 3-2, you know, to the Huns Underdogs. These guys know what they're doing, so I'm not going to judge any of their choices. I'm like, Jordan, that's the right pick for anything. They could pick whatever they want to be like, Jordan, they know what they're doing. They're
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Dignitas, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't doubt them.
That's a good point.
Cannot doubt them.
Yeah. Well, GF Gaming picking an AMX 3090 and an AMX 5100. The last pick for Dignitas will be a tiny little T2 Lite, that T2 premium American tank. Very fun. I think that's another player we know's favourite tank as well. Faith No More finally picking the AMX 3090. So pretty similar lineups apart from that T2 Lite and the T71 from both teams. But we can just quickly go over the final lineups from Dignitas. We've got two AMX 3090s, a T69, a T71 and AMX 5100 plus a T1 and T2 Lite, whilst GF Gaming going for an AMX 5100 triple AMX 3090 and two T1 Cunniams. This will be on Abbey, so the AMX 5100 is going to become more of a mainstay because of the no artillery rule. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Let's get in, Abbey.
So let's get Abbey indeed. It says GF Gaming versus Team Dignitas. It's going to be our third and possibly final map. If Team Dignitas take it, they will win 3-0. This will see if GF Gaming has what it takes to take at least one game against Team Dignitas. They look like they're going towards the mountain site from the get-go. What are Team Dignitas doing?
Well, you know, they're a side that certainly can perform under pressure, so in Abbey or not, we're going to have to see if they can kind of step up right now and just secure the victory, pretty much. Obviously, these guys have been going pretty close, but, you know, obviously, you know, losing a map here and there and dropping things, but I think these guys want to kind of start a new trend off. They want to be completely affirmative in what they're doing, you know, not giving their hand away, not giving even a map away, and they're looking pretty aggressive right now down that mountainside, down that 1 and 2 line, both 30-90 splitting off, leading the way.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like GF Gaming are going for pretty standard tactic. I think they want to be pushing up there. Okay, there we go. Garat being picked out straight away by Team Dignitas. He actually get a shot off straight onto the Fallen's AMX 5100, but Garat actually getting one as well, taking him down to 839. Palermo's going forwards a bit late, actually. He does take a shot. He takes two shots. He was way too late. I'm not sure why he's gone so far forward.
And again!
Goomis just the whole of GF Gaming just losing health left, right, and center. I did say Applewell would be Team Dignitas' most affirmative, most essential player.
They're literally pinging them in. They're herding them one player to another. They had that initial exchange. It didn't go too well. You know, they lost a play. Well, it wasn't great. But the reply was fantastic, herding them into Applewell's vision, and they've literally damaged the entirety of GF Gaming right now.
Yeah.
And that's just beautiful initial play. First of all, I thought, oh god, they've been caught off guard here, but it was just Applewell's positioning, perfect. And, you know, I think Stalker can pretty much be, you know, thanked for that when he, you know, calls it out perfectly, says, okay guys, make the exchange, make the play, make sure you do that damage, and I think that's going to really set a trend for the rest of this game now.
Yeah, indeed. I think GF Gaming thought they could get to this rock here, and that's why they took so much damage. I'm not sure why, because usually you see the team from the north take this rock, because obviously, look, if you look where Ashanish is right now, it takes not very much time to drive there, but if you look back here, it's probably about a third at least to drive this way, so it just takes a lot longer. But now Goomis is here, you know, he's going to do all right, because he did just connect a shell onto Shanish in the T69. If he can continue to do that, keep pressure onto Dignitas, he can keep on making those pot shots, you know, 240 average damage of the MX 3090, then he will slowly get them back in the game.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, Applewell is falling back, leaving Garrett and Shanish to pick up the mantle and do some more damages. I'm kind of curious why he's sitting back now. Why do you think he got called back there? Why is he retracting back, you know, even further towards flag? Do you think, you know, they're expecting a bit of a adaptation coming out, a bit of a push here? Because they're leaving three very present towards that mountainside, pulling back Applewell and keeping eyes on Abbey, you know, the actual Abbey there.
Yeah, I think they just want to kind of split off. I mean, they know they can't push against GF Gaming right now. They have far too much firepower. They know exactly where probably GF Gaming are. They know that they're all across that mountainside. Just because Faith No More was spotted by Stalker. Stalker seems to have got himself in a rather puzzling situation. He's kind of like stuck behind a little rut just in there. I'm not sure if he meant to go there or not. You could ask him sometime, I'll let you know. But WoT, I think the reason he's doing that just because he wants to put pressure onto another flank of GF Gaming and see what he can do. If it doesn't work out, then he just retreat. He actually spotted Faith No More. He misses his first shot. Probably the second shot will actually be fine. Yeah, okay, there he goes down. Taking him down, no problem at all. There goes Faith No More, the team captain. But now Gervas will be able to spot out onto WoT.
Yeah, but Shanish was already there, already keeping eyes on, and Arclit is kind of picking up where WoT left off, doing the damage, doing it from very long range here. That is lovely play coming out.
Yeah, we have actually engagement. Provians went around the corner, he found himself in trouble. He got set on fire by Angel Killer in his T1 coming in, funnily enough. But now Serkas has come around, but way too late, so he'll be in trouble now. And now the whole of Team Dignitas has to come flubbing around the corner. Palermo's is on 75 HP, he will actually get taken down. Serkas will now be on the tree, and GG well played coming out from Team Dignitas.
Another sensational execution from Team Dignitas there. That was absolutely incredible. You know, I don't think GF Gaming are too happy about that one, but what can you do when Team Dignitas are playing that well? You said it early on, WoT, pivotal player, and he pretty much was. Take us through the damage especially there, because I've got it up on mine here, and looking at that, Povil, you know, doing the work, and they all did, but WoT's early work there was brilliant. I don't know if it even really reflects in the damage dealt, because the early play gave them such an edge.
Exactly. It's not about doing the damage once you've already won the game, you know, everyone knows that. It's about doing the damage, as you said, where it matters. And WoT getting those first 3 shots on, so important, because it gave them the confidence. It kind of, you know, made GF Gaming a little bit more wary. And, you know, when it came to the push, the lack of HP GF Gaming had, you know, it lost them the game. They couldn't do anything against Team Dignitas. Wow.
What a set of games, and Dignitas looking incredible. But guys, I want to know what you thought of the game and your predictions as well, and how you've kind of felt about the games we've had so far. So let's have a little chat with Melly, our lovely lady over there in the corner, and see exactly how you guys been saying at home.
And yeah, the vote race, to be honest, it started with 75% for Dignitas.
Okay.
Before the first match, went over 80 to 87%, and now it's, let me just calculate it on the fly.
Math skills coming out here, folks.
Yeah, exactly, and it's 90%.
Wow, okay.
90%, and most of the comments actually predicted a 3-2-0, 3-1 win. So you guys were completely right. I'm really impressed by your knowledge.
See, I even went for a 3-1. I wrote down in my notes, I was like, okay, 3-1. I'll stick with that. But these guys stepped up.
I thought it'd be 3-1. It should have been 3-1 the first 2 maps. I mean, I'm surprised GF Gaming couldn't quite finish the last, you know, do the last bit of damage, but 3-0 to Team Dignitas. It's not like you're kicking yourself, really. Like, first team finisher doing so well, like you lose against Team Dignitas, you know, it's like, okay, fair enough.
We tried.
Yeah, exactly.
We did what we could, but obviously Team Dignitas a little bit too strong there towards the end of that, and just showing their absolute brilliance as a team, individually, in every way possible. And obviously we've had a fantastic time so far. But guys, make sure you get involved as well. And is there any questions going on there, or are we very quiet?
Well, they're still in the last game. So
no questions.
That's why they're quiet. They're still watching the match, exactly. And yeah.
Okay, fine.
Fine then.
Well, thank you for participating so far, and hopefully see you next week from my side.
Well, at least we don't have Steven anymore.
Yeah.
All right, we got rid of him. What?
Oh wow.
What? She's much nicer. You guys at home clearly agree to this, right? I'm sorry,
Everyone
Steve.
agrees.
They would be cheering in 10 minutes.
Yeah, indeed. We missed you, Melly. Welcome
and
back.
I missed you. Yeah. It's been so fun.
Indeed.
Had a great time. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're not going to get rid of you, are we? Like, sorry, guys, Stephen is now our lovely assistant forevermore. But we couldn't do it. We had to let him go, sadly. He's still around the building. We can't quite get rid of him that much. But, guys, anyway, on that note, make sure you tune in again. On the 8th, I believe the next games are 8th or the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. It is the 8th.
Yeah.
The voices in my head said the 8th. I was right, first of all. But there'll be some more brilliant games coming up. Do check out the season so far on WoTProLeague.com. You'll have the full season listings. It'll have just about everything you need to see. Even go back to season 1, see how these guys did originally. Obviously, I've had a fantastic time here. I'm assuming you have as well. You look fairly cheerful for once.
Thank you very much. I've had a great time, yeah. It's been fantastic games. GF Gaming, commiserations. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you play Team Dignitas. I've had a great time, but it's until Monday, I think.
Yeah, indeed. So, guys at home, make sure you get involved on all the channels. Obviously, there is Twitter. Melly earlier on told you exactly how you can get involved in that, but you can do just the same. You know what you're doing. We'll put it in chat later. You can follow him at LaughterWOT and me at They Call Me Pansy. But that's been it from us so far tonight. We'll be back on Monday, as you said, with some more fantastic content and seeing if anyone can even challenge Team Dignitas these days. We'll recap you on the results so far as well. But, guys, get ready for Monday. Set your alarm, set your whatever you have at home. Put a big sticker on your screen like Monday, World of Tanks, Pro League, Season 2. Because we'll be here. Hopefully you will be. See you Monday.